Hey, what's going on, everybody? Just wanted to share something. I've got about 3 or 4 hours into this little project. I've always loved my LTs, and but the 85s and 86s have always been kind of the bastard children. People don't make a whole lot of parts for them anymore. There was never really a strong aftermarket for the first gens, which is unfortunate. This bike, if you've looked at any of the other videos, was our fastest 86. I have two of them. This one had a ported motor, a bigger carburetor, a handmade Kenny Roberts pipe, and some other mild things, bumped compression and stuff. And it was pretty fast. It was just as quick as the 87s when they were stock. And then once we started modifying the 87s, they pulled away from this thing. But these bikes are so light. In 85 and 86, they only weighed 293 pounds. They were under 300 pounds. They weighed as much as an ATC 250R, a Honda. And, you know, that in and of itself is desirable to me. I hate throwing around a almost 500-pound machine. And these things are just a blast to ride. But we always look for more power. So, which brings me to the quest for more power. You're not going to believe this, but I've got about 4 hours into this thing, and we're swapping in a YZ250, actually out of a 2018. I mean, all the YZ250 two-strokes are the same, basically from 99 to 2023 or 4. Right now, 2025, I think they still make them. And you're not going to believe how easy this swap is. Like I said, I've only got 3 or 4 hours into it. The motor is as you can see, in the frame. It is in the rear mount. I'm going to fab up some spacers to take up the gap. But I have good chain alignment. Actually, really good chain alignment. I don't know if you'll be able to tell from here, but it's dead nuts. And I have some adjustability in the positioning of the motor left to right where I can align the chain perfectly. And then the spacing from the rearmost mount by the swing arm mount, to the bottom engine mount is identical on the Suzukis. That mount bolts right in, and the bottom mount of the YZ250, it's not a direct bolt in. I had to take some off the frame, as you can see right here. And then I had to clearance a little bit on the other side as well to drop the motor down a little bit, but it drops right into that mount, which is unreal. And so all that's left, I'm gonna source a front cross member frame section from a later generation like this. So I have room for the exhaust pipe. I'll cut out this center mount for the frame, and then I'll fab in the 87 to 92 mount, which opens this section up for the exhaust. And then the motor will be fully mounted up. That'll be the biggest fabrication piece. Look at the carburetor spacing is perfect. I don't have the silencer with me, but I got a YZ250 silencer that I mocked up here on the right side where it would be on the dirt bike. And it's gonna bolt to the same frame mount in the tail section on the, what would be the passenger side, which is just opposite of the factory frame mount. So I'm gonna run this one. And then the way the carb is kicked out, it opens up all this space for the exhaust to come through. So the exhaust will come to the right, it'll come through here, and then it'll finish on the silencer section. So this is gonna be, this thing is gonna be an absolute ripper. If you know anything about the YZ250s, and to be honest, the reason I chose this platform to swap into the LT is there is a never-ending supply of aftermarket for this motor. Never ending. You can get a 293cc big bore kit drops right in, no modification required, no fab, no nothing. That bumps up the bore to 72. It's a factory 72 stroke. Factory piston size on the YZ250 is 66.4. The drop-in big bore kit bumps it up to a 72, so it's perfectly square, and effectively making it a 293 cc. The motor will make about 55 wheel horsepower with that setup, with just very basic, I mean, really no porting, basic porting, just cleaned up transfers, exhaust ports, stuff like that, not a whole lot. Cool thing about these is, these were the pinnacle of two-stroke technology in the early 2000s. They have auxiliary exhaust ports that open up. The exhaust port itself is a much better, bigger design. The transfers are way bigger, of course, than the factory 85, 86. They're even bigger than the Blue Motor 87 and 92s. So this thing is gonna be sweet, and can't wait to share some more once it gets done. So stay tuned.